Let us get our first guest out. Ladies and gentlemen, I am as keen as mustard to meet him. I have been a fan of his for as long as I've been going to see movies. It's Mr. Samuel L. Jackson.
Who's the black detective bitch? It's a sex machine with all the chicks. You bet. He's a complicated man. No one understands him but his woman.
That's kind of an alternative version of it there.
That was quite nice.
Samuel, I don't think anyone else could come out here wearing that ridiculous hat and get away with it. And yet,
Thank you very
look
much.
Fabulous in it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just don't know how you do it.
Well, it's an amazing kind of feat of confidence and, you know, not caring.
You do give off a certain cool, which is almost unearthly.
Yeah, and I have no idea where that came from, how it came about. It's an interesting phenomenon, I think, that Pulp Fiction had a lot to do with.
Yeah, maybe so.
Quentin was very nice in giving me a role that sort of brought out something in my personality that allowed people to all of a sudden relate Jules to me.
Did he write that for you with you in mind, or was that a part of it?
He said he did. We had an interesting meeting in a restaurant on Hollywood Boulevard, and he told me he was writing this script and he was writing this part for me, and I would get it in the mail, and we had a long conversation about Hong Kong films, because he loves Hong Kong films. I love Hong Kong films.
You're a fan of the Kung Fu, yeah?
Yeah, I collect Hong Kong films too.
Well, this is another thing we have in common.
Yeah, I heard that.
Not just our coolness, but also our love of Hong Kong films.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah?
you know, I feel very uncoolnish, and you know, normally I feel quite cool next to my guest. Tonight, I feel like Mr. Bean sitting next to you.
You look great. I mean, I'm like totally digging this suit. I'm like sitting here looking at it going.
Maybe later on we could swap. I'll give you the tie. You give me the. Is it actually a hat? I'm not sure.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You're 53. Is that right? 52, 53.
53. Yeah.
So you were born in 49.
Yeah.
Now that's what a period in American history that is you've lived through. That really is a period of great change, an incredibly volatile period. You've seen some changes there. How was it compared to how it is now? I mean, it must be wildly different.
Oh, well, it's totally different. I actually grew up during segregation in the South in Tennessee, and I was, you know, separate, but, you know, supposedly equal, but it was not the same. Things have changed, you know, quite a bit.
Was there anything good about that, though? Was there anything about that period about segregation, even?
Well, it was very protective, and people taught you a lot about survival and how to survive in a world that seemed to be quite dangerous and dominated by another part of society. And you learned how to live in two different worlds, how to mix and match in that society and how to live in yours. And you learned how to guard yourself and guard the things you said, and how to stand back and listen and look at how folks reacted to you and to what they said, and to read between the lines.
Did it inform your acting at all, do you think? I mean, is that what helped you become an actor, or was it what even inspired you to become an actor?
I think it did. There are things that I can call on that aren't present in our lives now. The way I hear people, the way I see them, the ulterior motives people have, the way that I negotiate through dialogue, and how I say things, and sometimes the volatile way that things come out. It's a lot of pent-up anger sometimes, you know, and people say that that's a quality that they haven't seen in a lot of actors that I seem to have, that I can deliver a speech in a specific kind of way that makes people get it.
Yeah. Get the point and not miss it.
Yeah.
Do people quote lines from your films back at you?
I hear, I hear quoted to me about 5 times a week. Do you know what a quarter pounder with cheese is called in France? Pulp Fiction follows me.
Yeah, I bet it does. Well, and now you're in Star Wars, of course, which we'll get onto in a minute, but people must shout that at you as well, I imagine, don't they?
Not really. I very seldom hear, you know, the force be with you. People are, you know, and little kids are just kind of,
yeah.
It's Mace Windu, you know. So I have a whole new fan base now, which is like totally cool.
Was this was a real dream for you being in Star Wars, though, wasn't it?
Oh, totally. I was a big fan of the series. I was at the first screening of that movie in New York, and I was just caught up in it, and it was fascinating to me, and it took care of all the fantasies I ever had of wanting to be, you know, Errol Flynn because they had lightsabers and just all this stuff in a combination, and it had, you know, furry things and green things with 5 and 6 eyes and tentacles, so it was a monster movie. It was everything. And I was doing a talk show here in the UK, and somebody asked me if there was a director that, you know, I hadn't worked with that I wanted to, and I remember George was about to do Star Wars, and I said, yeah, George Lucas. And somebody that was working with George heard it and told him, and he actually summoned me to the ranch.
Wow.
To see if I was serious. And I was like, yeah, man, I'll, you know, be a stormtrooper, you know, I don't care. You know, you can put me in a white suit with a helmet, and, you know, as long as I know I'm in the movie, I don't care if anybody else knows.
You really would have taken any part in it?
Oh, definitely. I just wanted to, like, say I was in a Star Wars movie, uncredited, just, you know, for
that's got to be pretty unusual.
Thrill of it.
Someone like you know, who has a name, you can help a movie open big. You know, people go and see a movie when they know you're in it.
Well, Star Wars has its own mystique, and the star of Star Wars is Star Wars. George Lucas is the star of that movie. Yeah. He doesn't need, you know, me or Harrison or anybody else to make those movies work.
Now, when you saw the first Star Wars movie, this was the period of your life when you were enjoying most of what the planet has to offer in terms of recreational pursuits.
Yeah.
You were high as a kite, am I right?
Totally.
You were off your face.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
is that a good way to go and see Star Wars? I imagine that must be terrifying.
No, man. As soon as that ship jumped into hyperspace, me and about, you know, 150 people in that theater were like stuck to our seats, like. Because in New York, then, you know, you could actually smoke reefer in the theater. So, you know, nobody bothered you. So we were all pretty much lit up. We were waiting on the movie to start. All of a sudden, it was on, and we were like, oh. So it was the perfect way to watch that movie, man. It was like, yes, this is what I want to do. What do I have to do to get in a movie like this?
Because there was a long period in your life where you were not just, you know, using substances, but you were working at the same time, weren't you?
All the time, yeah.
So you were turning up for work out of it?
Well, I learned to act that way. When I first started to do theater, I had this very interesting drama coach who said to us that if you're going to learn to do it, you learn to do it the way the great ones do it, the way, you know, Richard Harris and
Richard Burton, those guys.
Well, Burton, yeah. The guys who like were toasted while they did it. So
Oliver Reed?
We did it. Oliver Reed, my hero. So that's what we did. We would drink, we would rehearse, we would smoke reefer and rehearse, and we did plays. We drank at half hour, and we sat around and we got ready to do the play.
Yeah.
And I never knew another way to do it. So I functioned that way, and it was fine. And I knew my lines, and I knew the dramatic intent and everything else. And it wasn't until I got clean that I started to connect emotionally to the roles, which was, you know, a whole nother, you know, revelation to me. And amazingly enough, the first role that I ever did, substance-free, was Jungle Fever.
Wow, as late as that. So you're up until that stage. So Do the Right Thing was before Jungle Fever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you were out of it during the filming of that?
I wasn't out of it. I was in it.
No, what? You were in it, but out of it at the same time.
I always felt like I was in it.
Yeah.
I always felt like I was more in it. But I was just, you know.
But you're good in that film. And
yeah,
you were...
but I'm just sitting in the window, you know, being a DJ.
That's right. You weren't carrying the film. I'll give you that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the performance you have is a good one. It didn't seem to affect it too adversely.
No, it didn't at all. It never did. I mean, most people who knew me never thought I had a drug problem. Yeah. It was just, you know, that's just Sam. That's how he is. And I was a good time guy. And the biggest worry I had getting clean was, am I still going to be fun?
Oh, yeah.
And I worried about that. And then I realized I had more fun, you know, once I got clean.
So you're straight and sober now. You don't smoke?
I don't drink. I don't get high. I smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. Coffee?
Yeah, I love coffee.
Oh, man, I love coffee.
Yeah.
Chocolates?
No.
Have you tried a hobnob?
No, what's that?
You've got a treat in store of you after the show.
Oh, really?
A chocolate hobnob.
Hobnob. What exactly is it?
Wait and see. I don't want to spoil the surprise.
All right. Everybody here seems happy about that.
You just got to close your eyes, open your mouth, and I'm going to slip you a little bit of pure heaven.
No.
It's a biscuit.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, I bet you have.
I'm a little too old for that one.
Well, you've got to get film parts some way, I'm sure. Let's talk about your haircuts in the movies, if we may.
Okay.
Okay, because right now you're kind of pretty clean-shaven, I guess.
Yes, I am.
Upstairs. We saw you in Pulp Fiction a little while ago, and that was, what's that called, a jerry curl?
That's a jerry curl, yeah.
Well, it kind of looks good. You can carry it off. Not many people could, I think. Let's have a look at another one. Here we have one of you. Now, what's going on there, Samuel?
That's a great white hype sort of look.
You look like a negative photograph of George Michael.
All right, I can go with that.
That's what's going on there.
The Reverend Sultan.
But
Reverend
more handsome
Sultan.
and more charismatic. Let's have a look at another. Here we go. Now, that's a good look.
Yeah, 51st State. The cornrows, you know, contemporary, hard, you know, street look.
Kind of a bit David Beckham-y. I
Excuse me?
apologise. No,
I think I was first.
Yeah, I think you led the way.
Yeah.
Now, this one, I have a bone to pick with you here. The last time I saw hair like that, it was on an Italian girl I knew about 25 years ago. Look at that. What's going on there?
What, the bottom part or the top part?
This going on.
Oh, that part right there?
You know the European lady.
That looks like a merkin, huh?
Yeah, that's what it is. It looks like you've had a pubic wig affixed to your chin. That's not grown. You've stuck that on.
Yes, that's all stuck on. That's
it's the falsest beard I've seen in my life.
I know somebody who has one of those. That's an HBO film about the first black cadet to go to West Point. I was playing his lawyer.
Wow,
that's an 1800s kind of...
Oh, well, that explains it then.
Yeah, totally.
Samuel is not just in the Star Wars movies. There were toys out of Samuel as well. And, you know, this is something... How come your lightsaber... Am I right in thinking you're the only guy with a purple lightsaber?
That's correct.
Now, this is a kind of a slightly odd-looking toy of you. It has to be said. But how did you get the purple light going on?
I just kind of asked George for a different colored lightsaber one day, and he said, "And what color do you want?" I said, "Well, purple." And he said, "Well, there are only two colors." And I said, "Well, I'd like to have a different color. You know, I am kind of high up on the Jedi Council, and, you know, kind of set me apart and whatever." And he didn't ask me why, but my only motive was because in episode 2, there's this huge fight in the arena.
It's a good scene. That's a great scene.
I really wanted to be able to find myself in the midst of all those lightsabers.
When you hang it off your belt, how do you make it not look like just a sort of like a flashlight or a tool? Because you've got to walk around with them on there, and a lot of the guys, I'll be honest with you, I've seen some, they're not the most convincing Jedi Knights.
Really?
I think Ewan carries it a little bit like it's a personal vibrator or something. You know, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
my man. You can't say that about Ewan.
Looks like he's got it on there for the ladies. When he fails to satisfy them, he's going to whip it out.
But Ewan never fails to satisfy.
I rely on your information for that matter.
Okay.
You know, it's been such a pleasure meeting you. It really has.
Thank you. It's a joy being on this show. I actually watched your show in Scotland, your movie review show. And I was like, wow, who's this guy? Yeah. So it's totally amazing that I saw your show for the first time maybe a month ago, and all of a sudden here I am here with you, and it's a genuine pleasure to be here, believe me.
Yeah, well, that's so kind of you to say so.
Thank you.
Later on, we'll swap tie and hat. Let's do that.
Oh, cool.
And
no
don't
problem.
forget, I owe you a hobnob.
I'm thinking about that.
That's a promise, not a threat. Samuel L. Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Samuel. Would you like that to shake our back? You may go back and relax now. Your work is done. Samuel L. Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Sam. What a star.